Charles Purcell presents.
It's the Chuckie Bucky Show. 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 If you're feeling lucky, show. It's the Chuckie Bucky Show. Don't get stucky in the mucky show, 'cause it's the Chuckie Bucky Show. And now here's your host for this evening, Chuckie Bucky. Hey there, hi there, ho there, everybody. It's the Chuckie Bucky Show. I'm the Chuckie Bucky Show. I'm the Chuckie Bucky host. I'm your pundit pal. Your pal with the punditry about, the politics and the news, especially here now. Oh, it's fall of 2024. And it's beautiful outside. I'm looking out my window right now, and the colors are starting to come, and there's bright sunshine, but it's nice and cool out there. Oh, you can put on your Mr. Rogers sweater and go out for a walk. He would put on his sweater when he came in the house, but gosh almighty, I put on my sweater usually when I'm going out the house because it's colder out there. Because I'm the Chuckie Bucky Show. Thank you very much. What a great audience. Right, Johnny?
Oh, it's a great audience, Chuckie Bucky. Yes, it certainly is. Say, have you got some of that great punditry for us?
Okay, now, time for punditry, right? Let's see lots of information here, cause it's the Chuckie Bucky Show. I've been so busy here lately trying to know what's going on.
Well, I understand, Chuckie Bucky. It can't be easy for a man like you.
It just can't be, can it?
Chuckie Bucky, if it'd make things easier for you, why don't you have a co-host?
I could do that.
Ladies and gentlemen, here he is, your co-host on the Chuckie Bucky Show, Uncle Chuck.
Well, hello, everybody. Uncle Chuck. Well, hello, Chuckie Bucky. Hello, everybody. It's me. It's Uncle Chuck. Hello, Chuckie Bucky. Hello, Uncle Chuck. You gonna help me with being a pundit? Well, sure. Let's do this thing. Hey, I've got a good starting point for you. Everybody's saying that men don't want to vote for Kamala Harris. Well, geez, I don't know why they wouldn't want to do that. What's the deal? Well, apparently, there's some people who still don't want to have a woman president. Well, that's the goofiest thing I've ever heard. I agree, and I don't know what to tell you. How do you even make an argument for such a thing? Don't be stupid. Don't be a bigot. Well, I understand what you're saying. It's not an easy thing to argue exactly. How do you even make your point? It's like saying, well, the sky isn't blue. Right. It's something that's so obvious and has to be true no matter what. And then, oh gosh, what's wrong with some people? Well, I think we're not going to reach them. See, and then the other thing they're saying, I've heard that the Orange Menace, he's, he may be a kind of a bad guy, and maybe he's not a very good person, but I like his policies. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's set a few things straight there. All right, let's talk about the economy for a second. All right, let's do that. Okay, so here's one thing people don't know. When you have an economy as a president, number one, there's not a whole dang lot you can even do about it. You don't have much power. President doesn't even have very much power to control the economy. It's working on its own. To the extent that you do have any policy input, as far as your maybe tax policy or trade policy, things like that, you can have some impact. But you're right. By and large, you don't have that much. It's just the cycles of the free market, is what they call it. Well, sure, but we know it's not free. But you're right, though. There are the ups and the downs and the swings and the backs and the forths and the bulls and the bears, and you lose and you win. And it's a big honking kind of thing that the whole dang government, let alone the president, doesn't have a lot of power over. All right, well, okay, we agree on that, but let's take it to what you can do. Like I said, tax policy and trade policy, and they do have some impact. And if you want to give the president some credit, I suppose you can give him some credit for years 3 and 4. You can't really give him any credits for years 1 and 2. That's exactly right, dear Uncle Chuck. The first year of your presidency is pretty much entirely belongs to the previous president. Whatever's going on in the economy, you have absolutely no power. We talked, you don't have a whole bunch of power anyway, but you got like zero power in the first year. That's all the results of the previous president's policies, and their impact on the economy. So, and that's right. And I'd go so far as to say most of the second year as well, because your first year, that's entirely the policies of your predecessor that are having the impact on your first year's economy. Then in your first year in office, you make your policies. Then it's still going to be toward the end of the second year that you're going to actually see any impact. Well, sure, and that only stands to reason. You're not going to see the impact probably until really literally your third year. Well, sure, and it's not like we're making this up. Look up any reputable economist on this subject. He'll tell you the same dang thing. Okay, so put this in the story of the Orange Menace then. He brags about having the best economy of all time. All right. Well, you can ignore year 1 that he just inherited from Obama. And, he always talks about this chart. I don't know. He's got this chart that he at night or something. He talks about how he loves it and kisses it and puts it up against the wall and just dry humps it or something. I don't know. He's got this chart that he loves. But talk about charts. Everybody has seen the chart where unemployment goes down and down and down, and the GDP goes up and up and up, and everything, inflation goes down and down. All the key indicators that are supposed to go down and down and down slowly over Obama's whole 8 years as president. Well, that's right. And he was criticized at the time because the recovery from the last up was happening kind of slowly, right? And he got a lot of guff for that, but it was slow and steady, and for 8 years straight, there was job growth without any job losses. And like you say, all the indicators that are supposed to go up went steady, slowly, up. All the indicators that are supposed to go down, they go steady, down. All right. So the Orange Menace, if you look at these charts, if you look at his first 2 years in office, those trend lines, either going steadily up or steadily down, depending on what indicator you're talking about, stayed exactly the same as Obama's 8 years, minus maybe the first year because he inherited such a mess. And like we said, you don't have much impact on that. But other than that, his whole administration, steady lines, either up or down, depending on the indicator. And the Orange Menace just inherited that. So then he claims, I've got the best economy of all time.
We have the greatest economy in the history, not of our country, in the world.
You have to be kind of really uninformed or intentionally obtuse. Oh, that's good. That's a good one. Obtuse. Yeah, intentionally obtuse. I like that. People who kind of refuse to see something. And I think we've all experienced that when we're in some sort of denial. We don't want to believe something, so we don't. It goes against our wishes. So our brains are funny things.
Very, very large a brain.
But you're right. It's right there in black and white on the charts that his first 2 years, the economy was the Obama economy. So the economy he brags about is not his own. And by the third year, and again, we're no experts. No, heavens to Murgatroyd. What was a cartoon character who said that? Who said that? One of the Hanna-Barbera guys.
Heavens to Murgatroyd.
Right. We're not expert economists, but go ahead, ask any expert independent economist, right? Because economists, the whole world of economics is kind of goofy, but you can find at least honest independent economists, and they'll all tell you the same gosh darn thing.
It has to do with pure numbers.
Yeah, that was Obama's economy that he inherited, and by the third year, when his policies, the Orange Menace that is, when his policies started to take effect, when you actually got to see the results of his policies, right? The large, massive tax cuts for the rich folks and his gutting of regulation, yeah, you got to see the impacts. And by year 3, any independent economist will tell you that there were real signs of trouble. Inflation, losing jobs instead of gaining jobs, the whole thing. All the indicators are starting to show in that 3rd year. Again, ask any independent economist, they'll tell you that 3rd year was starting to look like, whoa, maybe trouble on the horizon, and then boom, here comes COVID. Oh, and that just throws everything up in the air like, wee, oh, right, COVID just fucked everything up. And then he can use that as an excuse for the rest of his life to say, well, COVID wasn't my fault, and that's why the economy went bad. Right, but then he made so many dumb decisions and bungled that whole thing.
Supposing we hit the body with a tremendous ultraviolet or very powerful light, and then I said, supposing you brought the light inside the body, which you can do either through the skin or in some other way, right? And then I see the disinfectant injection inside, or almost a cleaning, because you see it gets on the lungs and it does a tremendous number on the lungs. So it'd be interesting to check that. So that you're going.
And now, of course, in that 4th year, the economy is just tanking, and the stock market is tanking, and unemployment is way up, and inflation goes way down because nobody's buying anything, because nobody's producing anything, and nobody's shipping anything. Well, right, and that's why gas prices were so low, and he has the unmitigated gall to brag about the gas prices. He'll show, oh, it was only $1.50. Well, that's because nobody could drive anywhere because everything was closed and there was no gas. Well, sure, and so that's just an artificial thing. Of course, it was that low, but that wasn't a good thing. It was because of the dang COVID and the horrible economic crash that ensued. So there's the economy, all right, and then to stay on the money thing, the inflation of then when he's out and Joe Biden comes in and inflation goes boom, boom, boom. Well, there you go. Nobody didn't expect that because of the recovery then. All of a sudden, COVID's on the run, right? Oh, sure, we got the vaccine going and everybody's getting back out, like reopened to the world, and now there's all this pent-up frustration from consumers, and they want everything under the sun. So there's naturally inflation because, the old supply and demand that you learned back when you were a sophomore in high school. Sure, so, inflation, it went about as low as it could go, then it went boom, boom, boom. After the recovery, it went hot and heavy, and anybody knows that's just what would happen. That's the natural result. Well, right, and of course the Republicans, who lie about everything, they blame Joe Biden and stimulus money and all of his big spending. Hey, big spender! Right, and going back to these independent economists, you go ahead and ask them. You'll say, hey, did Joe Biden and the Inflation Reduction Act and the Chips and Science Act and the this act and that act, all the and the infrastructure and all the spending that he did, you'd say, hey, Mr. Economist, did that add to inflation? Was that bad for the economy? And they say, you know what? Maybe a half a point or so, but mostly that was really important for the economy. And they say, good, go. Yep, those are good things. Right, and job growth and everything's back on track again. And they got the supply chains. To this day, they're still a little screwy, but at the time they were awful, and that led to inflation. And don't forget, Putin over there in Russia invades Ukraine, and that's the whole gas prices thing. Oh, gosh almighty. So bottom line, the whole inflation thing is a dang joke. And right now, as we speak, going into the new election, inflation's about as low as the economists even want it to go. They don't want it to go below 2%, because then you got problems with, this whole Goldilocks thing. You need unemployment. You can't have zero unemployment, then that's bad for the so-called economy. Again, and these aren't our notions. These belong to the economists who love this whole free market garbage. But yes, you're right, Chuckie, Bucky. They say you can't have it too low. You can't have unemployment too low. You can't even you need a little bit of inflation. That's just the way the world works. And they'd like it to be around 2%. Right. If it goes below that, for some reason, they don't like it. They don't like falling prices. They don't like deflation. Oh, the economists say that's the worst thing in the world. Everything crashes if you have deflation. I'll confess, I don't understand. But, like we said a couple of times now, we're not the experts, but we can read, we can see the truth in front of our eyes, and we look for people who tell the truth and aren't just pushing some danged agenda the whole time. Oh, there's nothing worse than an agenda pusher. So you're listening to the Chuckie Bucky Show. It's the Chuckie Bucky Show, and I'm the pundit, Chuckie Bucky, talking all about what I know and what I don't know. And this is my friend. This is Uncle Chuck. Hello, Uncle Chuck. Well, hello, Chuckie Bucky. This is the Chuckie Bucky Show, and I'm Uncle Chuck. And we're talking right now about the 24 election as it pertains to the economy. And, the lies and lies. Oh, my goodness, the lies coming from the Republicans.
You can't handle the truth.
So there's, inflation. Hey, speaking of gas prices, I want to show you something. I'm clicking up my phone right now because I saved. Let me see. I just got to scroll and find it until I find it. Let's see here. Play some music there, Peter Donalds. Play some music while I'm looking. Okay, I'm telling you what I'm looking for. I found a chart that showed gas prices over the years, okay? Adjusted for inflation, because that's what you do over the years. Here it is. People always complaining about gas prices. All right. And how, they're so high now. Oh, gas prices, inflation, so terrible. All right. The latest I saw was about a month or two ago, 2024. Guess what the average price is or was? $3.50. Yep, $3.36 to be exact. I don't know the exact date on this, but it was sometime in 2024. Okay, $3.36, and it can go pretty high. In 22, after the crash and everybody wants to buy again, it got up to $4.09. But adjusted for inflation, that's what? $3.32 adjusted for inflation. And you'll say it's $3.36 now, so it's 4 cents higher. Right, adjusted for inflation. And you got to mark that against wages too, and wages don't always keep up with inflation. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But the whole point here is, here's my point. I won't bury my lead. Gas prices don't really change much over the years. They go up and down, maybe with some like the oil embargo and the OPEC back when we were kids, or a war breaks out or something happens, and there may be some fluctuations. But mostly they kind of go up and down a little bit, but mostly they stay the same over time. So don't ever think that, gas prices used to be so low. Nope, that's just not the case. When you adjust for inflation, and remember, you got to adjust wages for inflation too. Gas prices stay the same. 2024, $3.36. Pick a year, Uncle Chuck. All right. Let's go to, the year 2000. The year 2000. It's the year 2000. Remember? That was an old Conan O'Brien bit. That was funny. Okay, 2000, 331. 331. And it's, what'd you say now, 336? Yeah, 336. So 5 cents, only 5 cents more. Pick another year. All right, let's go back to 1976, the bicentennial. Okay, looking at bicentennial, and that was, we just talked about OPEC and the oil embargo and all that stuff going on in the 70s. 369. And then the next year is 372, and then $3.65, then 363. So all in that kind of 3.5, give or take. And it stays there. It stays and stays all through every year. It only goes up or down by a few pennies. Yeah, I'm looking over your shoulder here at this chart. 2004, 332. In 2008, these are presidential election years, 332. 2012, 330. It never changes. Right, and that's my point. Gas prices don't change, so just stop it with the gas prices. Don't even, if somebody puts gas prices in their argument, then you know they're just a big old dope. Gas prices just don't change. They're exactly the same forever. Always and forever. Let's pick another topic. We got stuck on the economy. Well, the economy is a big one, and it's just a big old joke. And now, the Orange Menace doesn't even know what a tariff is and doesn't know that it's a tax that Americans pay. He thinks that it's a fee that foreign countries pay. He's just too stupid to be even president or even anybody. He's just too dang stupid, right? So yeah, that's his entire economic platform, basically. All right, nothing. Tariff is all he cares about, and there again, he's such a weird, kind of goofy, perverted kind of a guy. Oh, I love the word tariff. It's my favorite thing. Oh, like I sleep with it at night under my pillow, and then at night I fuck it. And you know, that's the way he thinks. He's so fucking weird, this guy. And there's no tax on tips and no tax on overtime and no tax on this and no tax on that. Those are just little candies he's throwing out to the electorate. He'll either A, never do it, or if he tried to do it, it's just, they're all gimmicks and none of it works. So, and then, the Kamala Harris, she's got her own gimmicks and her own Rube Goldberg kind of ideas about governing. It's all so goofy. But there's just absolutely no comparison at all on economy. Well, you want to tackle immigration? Oh my goodness, immigration. I don't know. That's just goofy there again too. I'll say this much in my punditry here on the Chuckie Bucky show is that, oh gosh, he was just so mean and cruel. He'll separate families and rip babies out of a mother's arms. And, so yeah, immigration there. The border, talking about the border now, I guess there were probably fewer crossings because he was so mean and cruel. Yeah, I guess it kind of works to be mean and cruel. But then, if you look at the actual goddamn numbers,
it has to do with pure numbers.
Illegal crossings right now, as we speak, are lower. Okay, now listen to this twice. I'll say it once, you listen twice. They're lower now than they were when the Orange Menace left office. That's right. That's exactly right there, Uncle Chuck. Oh, gosh almighty, you're right. The numbers of illegal crossings right now, as we speak, are lower than they were under the Orange Menace in his last year in office. Yep, that's right. That's absolutely right. It's absolutely true. You can look up the numbers.
It has to do with pure numbers.
Right. So, yeah, the bottom line is the Republicans don't have a leg to stand on the immigration thing. So if you think that you can excuse the Orange Menace and all of his personal failings because you like his policies, well, you're wrong on the economy, you're wrong on inflation, you're wrong on immigration, and of course you're wrong on abortion. Everybody knows that. Well, sure, so abortion is just a no-brainer. The Democrats have that one. Healthcare, again.
I have concepts of a plan.
Okay, let's just laugh that one right off the table. Crime, there's another one. The cojones these guys got to say that crime is at an all-time high when that's not just fudging the numbers, that's totally like inverting the numbers. Right, because as we all know, crime is at 50-year lows. Right, and they say it's 50-year highs. So, and then finally, of course, the whole he's a fascist and we're not is there's another no-brainer. Well, right, I don't know how you can look past that. So, especially talking to white men, if you're thinking about voting for the Orange Menace, or if you're thinking about sitting on your couch, and especially if you're a young white man, it's not on the issues. You can't admire this sort of lifestyle of lying and being anathema to anything decent in the world. It can't be because If you just want to throw a middle finger up to the world 24/7, then I think you have some issues. You better, look into your heart and try to deal with that. If that's how you describe your personality, if you're a middle finger to the world, just every day you wake up and that's what you are, right? And I think that's kind of a thing for some people, and maybe a lot of young white men especially. Oh, I'm just a flippin' finger to the world 24/7, and you can all go f*** yourselves. If that's you, then I don't know what to tell you. You can't be happy. I don't know how you can be happy feeling that way all 24 hours a day. I don't know how you can. So this is our appeal to you. You get some help if you need it. We love you. We want you to be happy and well. We want you to be educated. We want you to have a nice girlfriend if you want to find a girlfriend, if that's your thing. And you can't find a good girlfriend, and I feel bad for you, son. I know it's tough out there. But if voting for the Orange Menace somehow fits in with your personality or makes you feel better about flipping off that finger to the world all day, I'm telling you, as an older guy who's been there a time or two, it's not the way to go. I heard Charlie Sykes on the radio the other day. We'll close with this. He was on the radio the other day, and or on some TV show. I forget where I heard him. But he said something interesting. He said, nobody has to know. You can do it in secret. You can vote for Kamala Harris all by yourself, alone in the voting booth. Nobody has to know. You don't have to tell anybody. You can just lie to all of your friends. You can lie to your family. If for some reason you can feel in social pressure that you just can't vote for Kamala Harris for whatever goofy reason you might have, but deep in your heart, when you just shut everything else out and you close your eyes and put your head on your pillow at night, and you know that the right thing to do is to vote for Kamala Harris. If that's you, if you really want to do that, go ahead. Nobody has to know. Just don't tell anybody. There you go. Okay. Well, Chuckie Bucky, this was fun. It was fun. And it's the Chuckie Bucky Show, where we talk about politics and whatnot. It's the Chuckie Bucky Show, where I feel that everything went pretty well. Chuckie Bucky Show, it's politics and everything you want to know. Chuckie Bucky Show, with I'm your pal, Uncle Chuck, sidekick, and I'm your host for the show, Chuckie Bucky Show. This episode of Charles Purcell Presents is available right now wherever you find your podcasts, or go to the website charlespurcell.com for the full archive and all the other series in the podcast family. Follow me on Facebook, write to me at charlespurcell@gmail. Thanks to our flagship terrestrial station, River West Radio, riverwestradio.com. Theme music composed and performed by Peter Donalds. From the New Arts and Media Studios in Milwaukee, I'm Charles Purcell.